Suleiman Raheem here. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum. Let's slay some demons. Sisters and brothers, I'm going to try to bring into focus exactly where we are right now in time and what we should expect the days ahead. That's going to be my primary focus for the near future, because we've come to the critical period that they mention as a time of unprecedented trouble. Now, I've mentioned we have several enemies, a lot of enemies. In fact, the whole world is our enemies. In Daniel, it says Daniel is characterized as Suleiman, he's a son of man, and Gabriel comes to him to help him, and he says there's no one else to help him but Michael, your prince, which is Farad. And he was fighting against the king of Persia. Now, you understand Daniel's a sealed book, so Persia represents America there. We're not going to go into Daniel in any significant way today. It's not the point. But the information is all over the place. But the primary enemy right now, so when you're in a war, you have to deal with the enemy that's in front of your face. That's when you have to deal with first, because you can't deal with the others if you don't get past that one. And the primary one are the demons. That's the first one Jesus came in contact with. The demon-possessed man, deal with those demons. They are a very powerful adversary. Very. Part of their power is that the fact that they can appear to be us. So they can ease up on you. Some of us have demons in our families. That's how pervasive this thing is. Some have demons in our family. Some of our mothers are demons. If your father's a demon, you got problems. But it's a very, very troublesome problem, because it referred to as the man was plagued by demons, plagued. See? To the extent he was beating himself up, self-destructive. I've encountered many demons over the years. And I hear no one talk about demons. Not Farrakhan, not Silas, anyone. They don't know what a demon is, even though Farrakhan is a demon. He probably recognizes he's a demon now, since it's been called out. And they have taken over our nation. Said the demon-possessed man has taken over. And chief spokesman, in the sense of the NOI, was Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds. And NOI backwards, you can't make that up. That's Farrakhan. But in general, right, he's part of it. All his friends are demons. He's buddies with the Black Caucus, which are all the demons. You know? Used to be called house Negroes. See, they were the master's children. They was allowed to work in the house. Why? Because he trusted them. Because they had the same heart he had. Even though he still called them niggers and put them out in the field, they acted up. See, when they came out in the field, right? They came out as taskmasters. Came out as punishers. They used them to whip you. Spies, preachers, spies to check on what you're doing, preachers to come out and convince you that you continue, that you need to continue doing what the master asked you to do. You have the same process going on now. See? And they keep upgrading their attack, their agenda, and we just sit there and watch like dumb dogs wagging his tail when the master say, "I'm going to put you down." You just wag your tail, lick your tongue. When we was in so-called chattel slavery, we're still in slavery now. You say no, yes you are. Yes, we all are. Okay, just look at it. When you're in slavery, they gave you a little shack to live in. In fact, when they showed on TV, it wasn't much worse than that. Because I talked to some of my relatives in North Carolina, and I was surprised. I mean, I knew they had some idea, even though in school they never taught us anything about slavery. I found out when I, start opening my eyes and start studying. You know, I didn't get it from schools. I went for studying. The books was out there, but we didn't. Black folks don't want to read anything. Most black folks anyway. So I'm down in North Carolina one day. I'm talking to my great uncle. He lived in this little white house. It's not a big house, about the size of an average apartment, maybe like 2 bedrooms. A bed. I'm not sure if they even had a bathroom in there. I'm not sure. They might have. And it's been a long time, over 50 years, right? And they said it was small. It wasn't that big. Maybe the size of 2 trailer homes together, something like that, right? One floor. Rooms weren't that big, kitchen, so forth. And outside they had this little tool shed, about the size of a bathroom, smaller actually. Well, I said average, like basic bathroom you find in like a basic apartment, with bathtub, toilet, it's not that big. That was a tool shed. So he was telling me, because they were sharecroppers, they were out there, they was pulling tobacco and everything for master still. So he told me, he says, because no one asked any questions, I always ask questions. So those old folks didn't get out of here without me asking questions. I mean, I was a kid at that time. Had to be about 10, 11, I guess. So I'm asking questions. So he's telling me, he says, well, you see his house I'm living in right now? That wasn't a house, that was Master's house. Because he's talking about his father's, right? Because he's, right? So I don't know how much slave he went through, but his father definitely did. So he was my great uncle, so he was my great great uncle. Remember, this is like in the 40s, the early 50s, right? So he says, this house where the master used to live. I said, well, where the slaves live at? The tool shed. That little old tool shed. He said it didn't have a floor or anything. He said they would put them in there, all the slaves in there. I said, how the hell they fit in there? I forgot how many told me what it was, but it was more than a family. He said they would put them in there, didn't have any floor, right, dirt floor, and they would lock them in there at night so they couldn't escape. See? So even what you see on TV with the Django and 12 Years Slave and all that kind of stuff, it was a lot worse than that. It was 1,000 times worse than that because they can't show you exactly how bad it was. The one thing about Oprah, one thing she did do is she did those slavery tapes or whatever, right? They're on the internet. They haven't ripped them off by now. And they were showing you how they would feed the children. They fed them like they fed hogs in a trough. They pour the food in a trough just like they fed it to pigs. And that's how the children ate. See? And they ate the garbage. See? That's where chitlins came from. They call it chitlins now. They called it chitlins back then. That's what exactly it was. They poured it out in the trough, and that's how they ate. No fork, no spoon. Ate like that's exactly. And you want to take my word for it? If those things, if she got her thing out there, still those slavery tastes, what it did, They went back to the turn of the century, last century, and tried to interview all the people that was still had experienced slavery before they passed away. And they gave, their rendition of what happened. They wrote it down. And that was one of the things. That was one of the things. See? So it was 1,000 times worse than you can imagine. See? And you got these clowns walking around saying, oh, we want reparations. Really? How much money will you take, right, for the suffering of your ancestors to that extent? They was treated worse than dogs for 400 years. So, get back to the point I was trying to make. Now, they gave you, you didn't have any money, so he gave you food. Master gave you food, he fed you. He gave you a place to stay, right? They show you they make you think these little rooms, these cuts that they show you in the movies. It wasn't anything like that, I can tell you. But whatever they gave you a place to be inside at night, little whatever. Because I remember my aunt down in North Carolina, we used to go down and see her my mother, very religious. We go down and see her every Christmas. And she lived in a log cabin, right? And all the white folks in the area, they had nice houses, but she lived off the road. I know if any of you drove through the South, and sometimes you drive through the South, you see all these nice houses, and all of a sudden you see this little log cabin, you think it's like a barn or something. No, that was slave quarters. That was how they lived. Because she lived in a thing like it was log cabin. And it was so, if you stood on one side, it wasn't even made that well, because it had holes, cracks in it. So you could, between the logs. So you could stand on one side of the building and see all the way through the other side, because it was so bad. And it didn't have any running, didn't have any, it didn't have any toilet. It had an outhouse. See? Didn't have any running water. She had to go to the well to get water. Eventually, she ended up living by herself, and I said, I went and got another place, because I said, how can she live there by herself? Because everybody had moved away, left it in, and she had to go to the well to get water, right? To put in a thing so she can take a bath if she wanted to, right? See? Wooden stove, she had to chop on food, chop of wood, and she was up in age. But anyway, so you got a little shack. They're throwing you shitlings, eat right. They would give you one pair of shoes, right, every year. And if they wore out, those shoes wore out. You had to use barefoot. Because when I was down there, most time, lots of people down there walking barefoot. This is in the 40s. They said that's the way it was in slavery. They said most time you walk barefoot because you wore the pair of shoes they gave you, and you wore them out. And so I'm cold or whatever. You was walking barefoot. So they gave you a pair of shoes, they gave you a ragged shack, they gave you, right? See? And then, you had a wagon so you could get from there, unless you could walk. We're different to the field, so you got to do it. So that's what you were doing. So what they do? After slavery is over, nothing changed. Just the psychology, how they fool you. See? They say, okay, you're free now. See? So now we're going to pay you for working 24/7 out in the fields. See? How much are they going to pay you? They can pay you just enough. So now, because we're going to charge you for living in that shack that we used to give you for free. And we're going to charge you for those chitlins that we used to give you for free, those chitlins. And we're going to charge you that one pair of shoes that was giving you. See? So we're going to get just enough money so you can buy that now. We get just enough money you can buy that now. See, so now you can be paid, and you got a job now. See, you ain't slave no more. You got a job. What's your job? Picking cotton for massa. And you're gonna work just hard as you did before, because you got to work that hard to make enough money to get the same old crap they was giving you before, the same old raggedy shack, same old dirty clothes, the same old raggedy clothes, the same old shitlings. You see, nothing changed. It's just the mindset they gave you. That devil mind That's all that changed. Your circumstance didn't change at all. So now you call yourself a sharecropper. Nothing changed. See? You're still on the plantation. All they did was change the terminology. Okay, we're gonna pay you. They could have did that back when they had, if they had thought about that, before they had Civil War, they probably wouldn't have had the Civil War. They said these slaves are free. They working. We paying them. It's been the same situation. Get out of line, right? You get punished. Break the law. Who's the law? Master was the law. The same thing. And the same thing happened right now. Because look, you got your regular apartment, right? See, you think, oh man, well, because see, the richer master got, the better situation got for you. Because you might go from chitlins, right, to ham, maybe if you got really lucky, the master's really rich. See, that's the situation. Because like a dog, if you poor, your dog eats dog food. But if you're rich, your dog eats steaks, eat hamburger. So now they're really rich now, so they upgrade what they give you, but the circumstance is still the same. You still live on the plantation America, right? You still work for massa, right? He's giving just enough money to buy that raggedy apartment, right? To buy that poison food, right? To wear the junk ass clothes. Still sells, nothing changed. And then, right, remember, and then he gave enough money to have transportation to get to that job. Just like he gave you money to get the horse and buggy so you can get out to the field. Nothing's changed. You still work for master. You're still on the plantation, and you don't even know it. That's what Harriet Tubman says. If they knew they were slaves, why could they free more of them? You still don't know you're slaves. Telling you free, how the hell are you free? This is not your country. And then when they take and kill one of you, and then you're, how can they prosecute them? That's master. The police is doing master's will. That's why they're not prosecuting. They doing what master told them to do. Keep them niggas down. Keep them on the farm. Punish them. They get out of line. So they get an example. Hey man, see, he got out of line, man. They killed his ass. So now that's a sign to you that deterrence. They call it deterrence. See, you think, oh man, that's his road cop. He's not a road cop. That's deterrence. They see crime. They see you getting out of hand. They say somebody did kill a nigga. They kill him. Bam. Right? Then everybody say, hey man, they tighten up. Hey man, these cops. That's deterrence. That's plan. And then, we get cameras. Them cameras, you still don't prosecute them. Got all kinds of excuses. So you're still the same situation because you run around with the devil's mind. Then plus, now what's so bad about it? Oh, I forgot the other part. See, they say, okay, now you can vote on what master's going to run the plantation. I'm really free now. I can vote what master's going to run. You're still a master running plantation. See, that's what really gets you. Oh, I can vote now for what master's going to run the plantation. That's what you're voting for. So how the hell is anything different? Master's still in charge. You're still working your ass off for him, and you don't have a damn thing. If you get out of line, still kill your ass. Hang you. Don't just shoot you now 20 times, 30 times, 40 times. Nobody has to kill anybody to shoot 30. You don't have to kill an elephant that much. You have to shoot an elephant that much. That's hate. That's deterrence. That has nothing to do with any justice. So you keep on with this, you're going to be pulled out of here. The original people, you're going to put like the demons stand. But it's the demons, see, remember, when all this was going down, part of the problem, a big part of the problem was the demons. Because the preacher, he was telling you, hey man, hey, you okay? You hang in there. So now they tell you, hey man, we free, man. This is our country, we got to forget about the past. They're trying to get you to divorce you from what actually happened to you. These so-called politicians, they master's children. They would not, only people got the master's house. You did not get in the master's house. Only people that got master's house were master's children. You could trust them because they had the same mind he had. They're just black. They was a black sheep. And they didn't care about you. They hated you just as much as master did. And they loved master. The only problem is master didn't love them. That was the problem. And we're going to talk about that. See? They kept telling you, hey, stick with mass, don't leave the plantation. They come and come and find what's doing, rat on you. You know, how did master find out? Because his demon son just told you. Demon son just told him, his demon daughter. That was a problem then, and we recognized it then because we did not trust master's children back in the field. Now we trust them now. They got our trust now. See, we vote for them. See, oh, they're going to be nicer because they look like us. And they was worse than master. I mean, you think that thing about Django, Kevin, what his name was, you think that wasn't too much off the point? He was more against the slaves than master was. His heart was towards master. He didn't care about those slaves, and that was a pretty true portrait of what master's children are like, house Negroes, and they're still out there. They would not be on TV. They would not be in public life. They would not be celebrities if they wasn't master's children. You better take that to the bank. Because they start talking like the seed of Abraham, their ass would be out. Even if they came even close to it. Look at Copenhagen. He came even close to it and would say they destroyed him. They just would he just revolted a little bit. They destroyed him. So what do you think they would do to you? You don't get there, see, unless you're master's children. The angel tells you half of the black people in America are demons. If it's 34, it means 17 million. That means almost all the people you know, half the people you know. If you meet 10 people, half of them are demons. And no, most of you don't appreciate any of that. I mean, he's showing division and that line that Farrakhan, well, one black blood, one black drop of black blood make you black. That's not scientific. That's not mathematical. That's not, that's not reality. The reason he said because he's a demon. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. Because he's a demon. See? If your father's a devil, you're a demon, period. There's nothing that can change that. You put an apple seed, I don't care what kind of ground you put apple seed in, it's not going to stop being an apple seed. The man carries a seed. I don't care. You can put an apple seed, I don't care what kind of ground you put in the sands or ground or whatever, chemicals, whatever. It's still going to come from an apple. You cannot change its nature. It may be strong or weak or whatever, it's still going to be apple. So that's why he's trying to hide his identity. He's running for cover. So he's still a slave. See? That's why it says we have to be forced out of here. See? So I got a little thing here. I'm gonna try to talk to you this because it's kind of complicated, but I'm gonna try to make it as simple as possible here. See? Because what I got here is the world and America inside, that's part of the world, but the world, surrounds America, right? America's the blue, right? The red, and the black and the gray inside of it. I'm trying to show that the primary influence in America right now is a Democratic Party. See? Because America is about, concepts. Democracy is about population. Capitalism is exploitation by definition. That's that the most profit you make, right? The more successful you are. So in other words, profit means that you're not paying, you're getting something more than what you put in. So slavery is the maximum profit. It means you get work out of them, you don't give nothing back. That's what capitalism. People, oh, we love capitalism. Capitalism would enslave you. When capitalism, it wouldn't enslave you. That's why it's slavery, because they work. That's what slavery is. We can work these niggas and we don't have to pay them anything. No more than just keep them alive, keep them working. See. So what we see is that we had this conflict. See, so-called civil war. So the bottom line is that there's a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna try to cut. I'm not giving you a history lesson here because a lot of stuff we're gonna have to cut through because we'd be here all night. Just say this: Democrats, they they were on the losing end of the Civil War, not because they were wrong or bad or immoral. That wasn't the reason why they had Civil War. Civil War because it was um, economic situation. The North didn't want to compete with the cheap labor of the South, and they tried to tell us you can't keep doing that because I mean, we need that work. You send your slaves up here, right? And they work for almost nothing. We can't compete with that. That's what that was all about. So they said, okay, let's get smart. They got smart and said, whoa, because the whole idea, they want to continue enslaving you. If not, just get rid of you. See? Because they're the ones here, they can't use us. The only reason we was here to be used wasn't here to control this country or anything. Because remember, democracy is all about population. And if you growing up, the more you populate, the more powerful you become. So therefore, they have to make sure you do not get that much population. Because I mean, that's what voting's all about, right? So in other words, on the plantation, they can't make sure they have more slaves they can control. Because then slaves might revolt, and then be trouble for master. They have to make sure that they keep that under control. And that's exactly what the Democratic Party do. So they've gotten control. So we're gonna cut corners here. So based on the chart, I'm sure at the point they have control of America right now. Not them, but it's all these big corporations. You think these big corporations, or they big capitalists? Most of these corporations they got rich off slavery too. And the after effects. What's the after effects? The policies that still continue right now because we're still slaves. Sending jobs overseas. Look, all these corporations that became powerful because sending jobs overseas that you would have had to keep your population down. Look at Democratic policy. Okay, abortion, keep your population down, right? Sending jobs overseas. You can't afford to have children. Prison, long prison sentences, so you can't produce children while you're in prison. And New York, they have negative population growth for black folks, maybe all over the country. They project that in 50 years, there will be no black folks in this country anymore. All you got to do is graph it, look at it. Look at population growth, right? And look at the procedure, if they was allowed to continue, right? So all these corporations, everything, they're getting rich off of us. They're all parasites. You have to understand, they're all parasites. They're getting rich off of us. They still continue to get rich off of us. Our creativity, that's one primary reason why we're here. Our creativity, see? That's what this whole story about Joseph was, right? See? Joseph rose to power because his creativity. You gotta understand these stories. That's what he wrote, because he could figure out stuff nobody else could figure out. And he told the king he came creative ways to save the country. See? And then he ended up enslaving them and all his people. See? And he wanted the creativity out of them, because what Pharaoh says, okay, we're not giving no straw and anything to make bricks anymore. They still make them anyway. We still want it anyway. We're not giving material to make it. That means you gotta be creative. I'm not gonna go too much on these stories, brothers and sisters. So I'd like to talk about them. But the problem is that their policies is to take everything they can take away from us, keep the population down, and if everything is filled, just get rid of us. That's the Democratic Party. And demons are on board with that. The problem they have with the demons, though, is the demons, they want to be recognized as equal with master. Master don't want that. So there's a conflict between them and master. That's the only conflict between them and master. Because they want to be equal with master. They want to marry master's children. They live out there with master in the suburbs. See, as soon as the door was open and so-called civil rights, they burst the door down, right? Getting out there with masks. That's what we want to be. Because before that, they lived in the inner cities, right? Because they didn't have suburbs before that. See, so white folks fled to the suburbs, right? And the demons ran behind them, left the original people back in the cities. See, so they want, just like if you study the Black Panthers back in the '60s, if you read their doctrine and their manifesto, whatever, they claimed they was like Nation Islam. They wasn't, because if you read what they said, they use a lot of Muhammad's words and stuff. But the bottom line was they just wanted a big piece of pie. They did not want no separation. They didn't want to leave here. They thought we owned America. We should get a part of it. They just want to be close to the master. Same thing in the demon in Legion story in Mark, right? The first thing the demon Louis Farrakhan said, Louis Eugene Grounds, I didn't know why that was Legion. Please don't make me leave the country. And please stop out me telling people that I'm with demons. See? So look at the segue here. See, I've run encountered demons quite a bit over my 30 years of talking to angels. So I recognize them right away. They come in, make a little note here. They come in, because I have a tendency to get this, lose my place here. Um, anyway, they come in looking around because, see, if you read the Demon Possessed Man, they recognize Suleiman right away. See, because he's calling them out. Hey man, they felt that right away. So they try to stop that. So they come in, look around, see what's going on, see, try to feel everything out, see, pretend they with you, try to get some information they can, and then they, pull the trigger, see, because they wasn't with you at all. They was never to begin with, see. And as soon as they stick their head up, I chop it off and block them. They come, oh, I like. I hear so many people, oh man, I love everything you said, like. And this might sometimes goes on for weeks, maybe months. And then one day, bam, they hit you, bam. They take it at the most vulnerable point, try to shut you down. Try to find how many people that's involved. I mean, it's kind of stupid because I'm not asking any followers. I'm not doing the organization. I'm just putting the truth out there, preparing our people in this to get the hell out of here. But see, they don't see it that way. See, because they see me as a threat. And believe me, you might not think that they're listening. They're listening. I mean, you'd be surprised how far this message is going. See? So once we recognize this, shut them down. See? And then they pop up some other kind of way. See? That's what I say, they are primary enemies. Because they see us as a threat. Read Demon Possessed Man. They saw Jesus or Suleiman as a threat. Oh, what are you doing here? Why are you bound us? See? They start begging, please don't make me leave the country. Because they know the power of this truth. And that shook the demons. Anyway, get back to it. So demons, they just want to be, see, they just want to be accepted. Like those Black Panthers, all they want to be accepted. They didn't want to leave. They want to stay here. That's what Farrakhan. We don't want to leave here. We ain't going nowhere. That's one way you know it's a demon right away. Because they want to stay here. After all this happened, they still want to be. Why they want to still be with Daddy? If you're a lamb and you've been eaten by wolves, you kind of eaten by. Why you want to stay with the wolves? Unless you're really a wolf in sheep clothing. So they still want to be with them. See? So you have that situation in America. But Master don't want that. He's not going to accept you. So you have a conflict there. See? So when you have two things growing, they're putting pressure on each other. Because when you're growing, it means you're taking up room. So say you're in a room, you in one closed room. Say you're in an elevator. And both of you next to you, and both you start expanding. You're putting pressure on each other because you got no more room. The earth is not getting any bigger. So you're putting pressure on each other. So as nations grow, they put pressure on other nations. As a nation grows, they put pressure on the surrounding nations. Because it's taking up more resources, taking up more space. The other one's going to resist. That's pressure. See, collisions is pressure, resistance. Every action has an opposite equal reaction. That's what conflict. That's what pressure is, right? Resistance. That's what it says. For every action, there's going to be resistance, equal resistance. So if something grows, that's an action. That means you're going to have resistance to everything around it. Because in order, like for us to grow, right, you have to eat. Eat what? You eat life. You eat nothing life. So you have to take life. You have to kill animal life, plant life. You think they want that? So in order to grow, we have to destroy other life to make our life grow. That's the way it is. That's the nature of life. So a nation grows, that means taking from other nations. That's how America grew, right? It took all this land from someone else. It took us, right? That's how it grew. It took taken from other people. Right now, they're taking the brains of other nations, they bring them over here. These other nations brainless, because they're taking their best brains over, bring over to America. People don't understand what's going on with that either. So the demons are growing, but they want acceptance. And Master said, no, I'm not going to accept you. So that's a conflict there. See? The original nation is growing, but they don't want any part of Master. But they're still growing. So it's a conflict there also. Because they're going to keep them, because our nature is totally different from their nature. So in other words, if we act upon our nature, we're criminal by their definition. Because we have a different nature than them. So therefore, that's why a lot of us in prison and everything. Because if you start acting like you're supposed to act, like your real nature, you're going to be at odds with them, because that means you're trying to change America to adjust to your nature. They don't want to adjust to your nature. They want to keep America like they have America. They want America the way they see it, not the way we see it. So that's a conflict there. See? That's why he had to squash the Nation of Islam after Elijah Muhammad left, because that was building within them, and that was building a whole different way of doing things, right? And Nation of Islam was acting totally different. You know, they were eating the same, dressing the same, talking the same, walking the same, right? They didn't want that. They didn't want America to be like that. So America, if Nation of Islam had kept growing, got bigger and bigger and bigger, that means it would transform America to Nation of Islam. They don't want that. That's why they snuffed it out. See? So this Democratic Party, see, that's made up of massa, powerful massa, the most powerful ones. See, because you got two types of massas. See, both have the same agendas, have different strategies. See, but in order to keep us down, the policies, because of the nature of this country, they have to keep the poor whites down too. Because the laws that affect them, if they say what's in a job overseas, that's affecting the poor whites too. You see? That means they can't afford children either, so they get an abortion too. It's affecting them. When they get at us, it affects them also. That's the poor whites. That's Donald Trump's people. Let's make America great again. That's them. So they're at odds with the power also. Because the power is keeping them down too, the rich. See? That's not only the whites, but it's also demons too. The problem is, like I said, they're the ones controlling this thing, but they're at odds with each other because They don't want to accept. They don't want to accept the demons because that's their children. But because they black, they don't want to give them full acceptance. They don't want that. They don't want to marry their children. They don't want all that because they don't want to be tarnished. See, they'll say, "Yeah, I love you," but they don't want their daughters marrying you. They don't want sons marrying you either because they want to stay white. See, but they'll do everything else with you. That's a scenario we have right here. So, but the world's coming under more and more pressure. Population, remember, the more population is, the more pressure. The more people you put in the elevator, the more pressure will be on everybody. So the more population, that means the world is coming under more pressure. For that, and also other reasons I talk about, the energy wave. We're talking about in terms of population, right? Because the energy wave increases population because more energy you have, right? The more babies you can, well, so the pressure increases. So now you got the pressure on America from the other nations, and you got the pressure within America from a nation that's in America. America is unique in that sense because they have a nation within a nation. So this nation is growing. It wants to grow its way, not the American way. Because Elijah Muhammad didn't want to grow the American way. He wanted to grow the Islamic his way. The way he was taught by Prophet Muhammad. That wasn't the way America wanted to grow. So you had a nation within a nation. That's pressure. See? Then you got the demons. They're growing too, but they want full acceptance. That's that. So they know what they that same mindset as master have. Only thing is they want acceptance. Well, master don't want to give it to them. Then you got the poor whites that suffering the same thing that we're suffering because they keep us down, they keep them down too, because the same policies keeping us down, keeping them down. So once you understand that, see, if you understand, let's take a few seconds to absorb that, and then we're going to try to do some analysis here. So let's take a few seconds to absorb that. Okay, hope you took a few minutes to absorb that. I'm gonna try to explain this to you in terms of this little graphic I made here. Because it's all about pressure. In the bottom, in the end, it's all about pressure. The whole universe is based on pressure. Mathematics, but the mathematics is all kinds of mathematics, but the mathematics of pressure. That's the most fundamental principle of the universe. Every action has an opposite equal reaction, which is force. That's why pressure is just force, right? It's voluminous force, but it's still force. So I'm setting this up, like I said, here's America, right? Surrounded by our nations. Nations putting pressure on America. America responded by putting pressure back. So at a certain point, you come to a critical point in life. In other words, if you put pressure on something, it's like a balloon. You keep blowing it up, blowing it up, blowing it up, blowing it up. Keep blowing it up, blowing it up, blowing it up, right? At some point, it's going to bust. That's a threshold. See, that's what you mean. Threshold is a point of change. Reach a certain threshold. See, point of change. It's like, when you go to puberty, at a certain point, your body just changes. Death, that's a change. Be a certain threshold where change happens. See, the cold, a certain threshold, you put enough pressure on it, right? See, it has to be a force. A force causes, you keep applying force to something at a certain point, right? The force is going to cause a transformation. It's like coal transformed to a diamond. Like if you put water on a pot and the force of the heat, eventually it starts to boiling. That means a threshold is when it's a change, when it changes, right? Reorganized to something else. So America's been under pressure, pressure, pressure. So now it's at a point of it's reached its threshold. It's got to change. Now, there's two things can happen when you put a pot on the stove and you put heat under it. Eventually, it's going to reach its threshold, it's going to boil. Now, at that point, one or two things will happen. Either it will boil or you turn the heat off and then it settles back down. See, it's going one or two, turn the heat off. So if that pot could say, okay, I don't want to boil, and somehow was able to turn the heat off, then it was settle down. See? Like a diamond. At the point just before it transforms to cold, just before it's transformed to diamond, if you release the pressure, it'll stay cold. See? Because it takes billions of years, that pressure. But the change is instantaneous. It's like when the pot's boiled. You can put, now you can put slow fire, you can turn the heat high or low. Right? If you turn it high, it's going to reach that threshold faster. If it's low, it's going to get there, it's going to take longer. See? So everything has a threshold. That's why you have life and death. At a certain time, you get to the point where your body can no longer, you understand, control nature, so nature snuffs it out. It's a battle between you and nature. That's what it is. That's what life is. A struggle between you and nature. The more you control nature, the longer you live. When you lose control of it, right? When you reach your threshold where you don't have the power to control it anymore, it snuffs you out. Nothing you can do, nothing anyone can do. So America has reached that threshold, has to transform. See, the Europeans reached that a major threshold back 500 years ago. They went through 1,000 years of so-called dark ages, medieval. That was only Europeans. It wasn't any affecting anybody else, just European countries. That pressure was the pressure of the Islamic Empire, put pressure on the Europeans for 1,000 years, right? The pressure kept building and building until they suddenly transformed the called the Renaissance. Overnight, they called it the Renaissance. Transform. Transform all the system. They put the church aside and went to the library. See? The church was under control, had the control of it. So the church lost control of Europe. They went to the Renaissance. They went to mathematics and science. See? Called the Renaissance. That was 500 years ago. And now they're living, right, under that umbrella, under that transformation. Now they come to another major transformation now. See? Because the threshold, they've reached their threshold of change. See, there they was able to change. Now they've reached a threshold where they don't have the ability to change anymore. See, when you put pressure on something, it changes, right? It will transform if it can't. Like that coal, if it didn't have the ability to transform into a diamond, it would just crush to dust. So when something transforms, either constructive transformation or a destructive transformation. But when it reaches that threshold, it's going to change. It depends on its ability. If it has the ability to reform and to reorganize, then it would change into something greater, better. Just like coal transformed to a diamond. If it does it crushes to dust. See? That's the situation. So, America has reached that threshold. And it has pressure from outside the nations. And you say, because see, when you're under pressure, there's applied pressure and resistance. America's resisting the pressure nations put on it. But that means the pressure also means, it's forcing reorganization. So the nations are trying to reorganize America to the way they are. And America's trying to transform the nations to the way it is. That's the nature of the pressure, right? So America's resisting this pressure. And so one of the things that's sanctions. Sanctions is a way of trying to get other nations to conform the way that America wants them to be. So I'm trying to break this stuff down so you understand what's going on, what these things mean. That's what sanctions are. So America puts sanctions on everybody's, right? Because that's how it fights back, to try to transform them. Because if it's able to transform them, because that's the pressure. China and Russia are trying to transform America. America's trying, fighting back. So it's trying to transform them. So it's putting sanctions on them. And what's the purpose of sanctions? To control their behavior. See? Because their behavior is putting pressure on America. So America responded by trying to change their behavior. Because they're trying to change America's behavior. Understand? So we had that conflict. That's the same thing within, right? You got the demons, they're trying to change America's behavior to accept them. See? Because, see, the whole thing, America, under the Democratic Party, they're trying to keep the original nation down. But that's hurting the demons too, because they're black. And they're not trying to say, okay, trying to figure out who's demon, who's our children, who ain't our children. No, anybody's black, they're going to suffer from the same policies. But those policies are also affecting the poor whites. Yeah. So all three, for them to try to control the original nation is affecting the demons and the poor whites. They've been affected by it, and they don't like it. See? They're trying to keep both of them, trying to keep the original nation down, but to keep the original nation down, right? To identify them as being black, but the demons also black. So they suffer from the same policies. See? Even though they work with massa. So look at it like this. You master's child, you work in the house, right? Now you're trying to keep slaves down too. You think it's like the master do. See? But master's policy is also affecting you. Because he is still nigger to him, even though you his children. So you're still affected by master's policies too. So you got double whack. So you tell me, no, I want to treat me like the rest of your children, master. Because master's policies is designed to keep the slaves in the field. See? But you black too, so you suffer from the same policies. You may have some perks, but you still helping master. See, that's the conflict. You still helping master keep the slaves down, but master's policy is still affecting you too, because you black, but you helping master keep those slaves down. So you got this conflict there. That's the dilemma. You understand that demons find themselves in these black folks. You understand, there's demons. See, but then it's also hurting the poor whites because you working for nothing, and so there's no jobs for them. They want those jobs. They want to get paid. Man, I say, hey, I can pay this nigga for nothing. I got to pay you. You see what's going on here? So the poor whites are being hurt by the same policies that they're using on us, and the demons also being hurt by the same policies on us, and they're resisting. See, and that outlines where we are right now, because we're at the point America has to transform the pressure so great inward and outward. That's why so there's conflict going on right now. All this so-called sanctions all over the world, all this commotion in America right now. See, the poor whites, that movement with Donald Trump, that's why they hate him so much. Because if he was to take, because for him to take those people that get in power, right, that would destroy the whole system. Because the demons and the original people would benefit. Because the policies they make help them, would also help the poor, will help the demons and the original nation. Because they're not going to keep sending jobs overseas anymore. Because they want those jobs. They bring it back, so black folks going to benefit from that too. They don't want the heavy pretty sentence, all that kind of stuff, right? So, hey, they're going to change the justice laws, right? So that's going to help black folks too. You see, they're going to take it, since you have more money and everything. That means, hey, now you can afford children, so that's going to destroy the abortion industry. So that's helped black folks too, because now they're aborting their children. You see what I'm saying? Do you understand what's going on here? That's the conflict. So they got to snuff out Donald Trump. They hate him because he messing up their program. Because for them to benefit, that means we're gonna benefit too. And they don't. That's the whole idea, to get rid of us. The whole purpose is to get rid of us. And so the poor whites and the demons are being hurt also by these whites. They're also being hurt by these whites, right? Who's trying to, to exploit us for every bit they can. The demon, right? Because I say Democratic Party because the demons are helping with it, because they think the same way. The only problem is they've been affected by this. They got it both ways. They've been affected by the policies, right? But they think just like Mass. They want, they want what Master want, because they Master children. So they're helping Master pull these, with these policies, but it's affecting, it's hurting them also. See, so they think like Master, but they're not getting the benefit of Master. See, they want to be treated equally with Master. Master, that ain't gonna happen, because Master looking at the color. See, and so poor whites are hurting too. So when Trump comes along and starts telling we're going to make America great again, to put white folks, the poor whites, build them up, they got to crush that, because if that happens, right? Because they're going to implement programs that's going to destroy the Democratic program. They're going to bring the jobs back from overseas. They're going to stop immigration, right? That's hurting them, but it's also hurting us. They're going to stop all that stuff. They're going to stop abortion. They're going to stop all that stuff, because that's hurting them. And we benefit from it because that stuff was hurting us. You understand? I mean, am I getting through? So you understand what's going on here? It seems complicated, but it's really not that complicated. And this was going, that's why the whole industry, everything, everybody's against Trump because everybody's getting rich off of us, those policies, right? That they're doing to keep us down. Everybody, all the organizations, all the industrial complex, everything is getting rich. Everything is getting rich and powerful off of those policies that's exploiting us and keeping us down. But it's also keeping the demons and the poor whites down too. See, they like what they call it, collateral damage. And Trump, in order to raise up the poor whites, he's got to destroy those policies. But if he does that, that means it destroys this complex that's keeping everybody down, and it empowers the demons and the original people. That's what's going on, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand it. I took some time to try to put this in a way that you understand, because I want you just not just to scripturally, because I'm trying to show you. You got to start thinking mathematically. Because when they talk about the wisdom in the Quran, they talk about understanding mathematics of our reality. That's the wisdom. The scripture is one thing. The wisdom is understanding the mathematics of the reality. And that's what I'm trying to give to you right now, trying to get you to see it. So what happens here? So are the poor whites going to be strong enough to overcome the Democratic Party? They do. That means they're wiped out, and the demons and the original nations elevated too, because they're going to benefit from those policies, bringing jobs back, stopping immigration. Because you look around, look, all those people from over the border, they're taking their jobs. All they do is putting you in jail, because he was. That's another thing. It was trying, like I said, they was changing the justice system, right, where all these long sentences and everything that was also helping hurt poor whites. So that means now you're not long, your children ain't going to prison, and when they come out, right, they don't have to say they're a felon anymore, so they can get a job. That was helping the old whites. That's he was doing it for them, but it was helping blacks too. So is he so all the whole structure, because in private, I mean, privatizing prisons, that means all this private industry, they was making money, right? Because the prison was privatized, and they went to these governor and says, I'm not going to buy these prisons and run them unless you can guarantee me I'm gonna have inmates. Because they private prison, the government pays them so much money for every inmate they have in there. Now inmates ain't getting any money, says there's no profit in that. And that's another form of slavery too. That's like, when they took the slave and you was really bad, so they put you in a hole someplace for a couple of few days or a month or whatever. That's what a prison is. See? So is he able to overcome it? No, because he wasn't able to do it. At least he hasn't yet. I mean, he got a couple more days. See? But that's why everybody, I mean, you never see anything like this. Everybody's against him. Why? Why is everybody against him and the policies that he was saying was benefiting black people? Everybody was against him. Totally. See? Even the demons, right? Because remember, they think like us. They want to get rid of us too. House niggas, they wanted to get rid of us too. One of the reasons why they wanted to get rid of us because they think that that's the reason why Massa don't like them, because us, we making Massa mad. We're not cooperating with Massa, so Massa don't like them either. See, if we cooperated Massa, then Massa will be happy with us. That's what they think. Whatever. So, if Trump is not successful, because he's trying to change America from within, he's trying to reorganize America. Remember, it says, when you're under pressure, either you reorganize or you crush to dust. If you're not able to reorganize, then you crush to dust. There are threshold points. They have to reorganize. They have no choice. The pressure's too great. So there's a threshold. So Trump was trying to reorganize America. If he fails, that means America will be crushed. The only other opportunity, the other thing you do is destroy the pressure that's causing the transformation. Remember, either take and the pots on the stove, you either boil, you know, reorganize from water to steam, or you turn the heat off. If you don't want to boil, only thing else, you got to turn the heat off. And what that mean? That means who's putting pressure on America? That's mean pressure from within and without. So that means they got to go to war with the pressure at the nations. That's what, see, this brings you right back into what Angel's telling us. That's what I'm saying. This is totally in sync. You got to go with the nations. America's getting ready to go to world war, to destroy those nations that's putting pressure on America, turn the fire off, destroy those nations, right? And also get rid of the pressure within that's causing pressure within. That's mega, Donald Trump's people, right? Because they tired of these policies. They don't want these policies anymore. And also got to get rid of, right? The seed, original people that's putting pressure on America. And the demons too. The demons are putting more pressure. Well, actually well, let me put it another way. They're putting two types of pressure. See, the seed wants to change things, transform America, right, into a righteous country. See, that's the kind of they want to live, but they know they can't do that. So they want to get the hell out of here. See, the demons want acceptance. See, so they will stay here and keep fighting America to accept them, because where else going to go? They love being here. They want to be here. They think it's like massa. That's one of the big pieces of pie. So they will stay here. That's why they said, please don't make me leave the country. They want to stay with the devil daddies, but they got to fight with each other. That's what this locust plague is about to happen. See, because what's going to happen? The seed is going to be taken out of here. They want to be out of here. See? And they're going to attack Mega, and they're going to attack, right? They're going to attack the demons. And demons going to fight back. And you already see the tensions building between Donald Trump's people, half the country, and Democrats. So that's the struggle. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So if Biden continues, if Trump doesn't pull it, there's going to be a war anyway. So they're trying to keep Trump in there. Whether it happens or not, right? Doesn't matter. America's going through it's got to transform. So it's at a threshold. It's got to be a constructive transformation or a destructive transformation. And we know it's going to be a destructive transformation because they've reached their threshold. They have came in with an expiration date, and they don't have the strength to transform into a stronger organization. They can't reorganize anything stronger than what they have right now. That means it's going to be crushed to dust. But they don't know that. But in the meantime, right, they're going to take and try to kill the pressure. See? Now, put it like this, they have an expiration date, but remember, that depends on this dynamic. And then if they're able to wipe out all the nations, then that pressure is not on them anymore. And they're able to not, eliminate us in here. So they can live forever then. Because there's no pressure for us to transform. See? So they're not going to transform. No, they're not going to reorganize. This is Democrat. They said we will keep things like it is. See, it's the America said we've got to change the country. They don't want to change the country. They don't want to reorganize. The mega group wanted to reorganize. The demons wanted to reorganize. The seed wants to reorganize. They want to get the hell out of here. See? But Democrat, they don't want to reorganize. They want to stay like it is. Status quo. So the only way they can do that, they have to eliminate the pressure that's causing them to transform. Because they got to transform. If this pressure, unless they eliminate the pressure, because they're at the threshold point. So they have to eliminate the pressure that's causing them to transform or transform. And they can't transform because they will transform, but they have to transform in dust because they can't transform to a better organization structure. You understand? So therefore, they have to eliminate, if they can eliminate what's causing them to have to transform, and that means they have to eliminate, go to war, the countries, China, Russia, all these countries that's putting pressure on America, Iran, right? That knocked them out. Was the war will start with Iran, because they're going to start with the weakest one first, right? That's America's way, see? And get war with the rest of them, see? And that's the hopes of getting rid of the pressure that's pressuring America. So they say, man, China's pressuring us, Russia, they're saying that. And at the same time they be doing that, they be trying to get rid of inner pressure. See? Get rid of us, primarily, because as they said, they're afraid that we're going to turn against them in the war. See? Then they got the conflict between the mega and the demons. See? And they're going to be fighting, all three be fighting against each other. The demons and mega be fighting against each other. Mega be fighting against the Democrats, right? The demons going to fight against the Democrats too to get them to transform. See, they're not going to fight against the Democrats to destroy them. They're going to fight to force them to transform, to accept them. But they're fighting against mega. That's between mega and demons. That's going to be a bow to the death there. See, and between mega and the demons, that's going to be bow to death between them. See how complicated this gets. And if you look around, that's exactly what's happening. You see it coming into play. So hope I explain this, because I think I may not be good at explaining things I thought I was. I hope you understand this, bro. So I'm trying to give it to you in another way. See, I tell you scripturally, right? And some of you may get it, some of you don't. But they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So I'm trying to give you this to show you exactly what's going on here. See? Because if they've reached the threshold effect, it's got to change. That means it's got to change one way or the other. Either they take and change in turn, reorganize what they can. They try that. That's what Donald Trump was trying to do. He was trying to reorganize. That's why they hate him, because they've resisted. When you try to organize, you resist. That's a force. So they resisted everything they had. So they've all at this point in time, the 12th of January, they've all but crushed the man. They're saying this. They don't just want to crush it. They want to crush him out of existence. I mean, they hate him because they want to make sure he has no seed or nothing left to even try to have any comeback. They see the whole point is not destroying Donald Trump. His whole movement, they want to crush him. So his whole movement, hopefully the whole movement be crushed behind it. See? Because that's messing up their plan to keep us down. Because if that movement's successful, then we benefit also. And the demons, they're helping them because they have the same goal too. They want to crush him too. That's why I call it the Democratic Party. These Negroes, those are the ones that's voting for him, voting for Biden and all that kind of stuff. Because they have the same agenda as their daddies have. The only problem is they want to get rid of us too. They don't want to around. They don't live next to you, do they? Only time they come around, they want your folks. They're caring about you. Obama, he's not a demon, but he caring about you. None of them cared about you. You see? They want to get rid of you too. But they just want Master to accept them. Master don't want to accept them. So they got that double whammy. See? So that's the problem we have right now. So he wants to be, that's why we got to be taken out of here. Because it's about to explode in here. Because it's going to be the war within and the war without. The war within and war without. It's about to explode. And the whole point is to get rid of us. That's internally. Because we're causing pressure upon them. They want to get rid of us. And that's in a nutshell what the angel's telling us. If you understand the wars, everything, the four winds, all that kind of stuff, that's what's going on. That's what had to be delivered. But some of us, because we didn't pay attention, we're going to still be in here in this mess while this mess is going on. That says the Nation of Islam, right? Those rise up deceived by Farrakhan, right? They're going to be here in this mess. When everybody's going after each other, they're going to be here in the middle of that mess. But we will be gone, see? Because all of these, remember all of these, America, the demons, and Mega, they all want to get rid of us. All of them. But they're in conflict with each other. But they all want to get rid of us. All of them. So I would be taken out of here. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So, since they won't refuse to transform, right? Will refuse to try to transform, but they can't even if they try, it would not be successful because they have no ability to transform. So they snuffed out Trump, who was trying to transform. He wouldn't have been successful anyway. See, but at least he was trying. They snuffed him out. So if they refuse to try to transform, the only then you turn the fire off. That's causing the pressure. That means go to war with all the nations, Iran, China, Russia, so forth, right? And that's externally, and get rid of the pressures inside. That's causing, because both of them together, see, America's between a rock and hard place, so to speak. See, you got America here, and you got pressure on both sides, see, inner and outer, see. So they're being crushed between the two. The only salvation have, right, is to get rid of both, see. Inner pressure and outer pressure. That's what the angel is telling us. That's what we're up against. But right now, the demons, like I said, demons are working with them. And we're dealing with them directly. So we got to be separated from them. See, I have them right there. It's two parts of the seed and the demon, but we all mixed together. That's why it says, do not separate the wheat from the chaff, because it was all mixed together. So you might hurt the wheat and the process doing that. But the separation is about to take place. So be separated out. When separated out, right, the elect is gone. The Nation of Islam, they'll still be here. But they have to go through tribulation. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. But you have this thing with, so I'm going to leave that with like that. So I'm going to get ponder that and have a couple more remarks, and then that's over. So think about that for a few seconds. Okay, brothers and sisters, wrap this up, but say a few more things here. We see demons here. You see Farrakhan, he got his little pit bull, Wesley. These people are going, they're insane. See, they're desperate because they're being called out. That's why it says if read the demon possessed man, they came desperate. Please, please, they start begging. Please don't make me leave the country. Please stop tormenting us. See, because Suleiman was tormenting them. It says we were tormenting them because he's telling truth to them. See, some of you may not think this message not getting anywhere. It is. It's affecting them because they got to answer questions. Because people hear this and they go back and ask questions. Well, how come you didn't know about COVID-19? How can you see that? How come you understand this thing? How come Africa, right, is not getting hit by this virus? And you know, and why we? You know, how come you didn't know about that? See, Africa's not affected. How come you know about the 1619 to 2019 and the plague that was starting 2020? How come you didn't speak about it? It was all the way in January. It happened, and you was in February. You didn't speak about it until way back in July. Because now they're trying to be like, oh, now you got these people trying to be like Farrakhan predicted it in February, and then all it happened when everybody, all you go just Google it and found that the thing actually happened. The virus hit in January, right on time. See? And so they ask these questions and they can't answer them. Because, so he comes up with these crazy theories like, hey, the Boogaloo Boys. Like, well, the reason why it's affecting Africa, it's not affecting Africa, it's affecting us because God came to us and we're not obeying God. See? So we don't have a shield. Well, Africa don't have a shield either, do they? I mean, how come they're not getting it? See? Oh, well, we should not eat enough bean soup. And it's this Boogaloo Boy stuff. When the simple explanation is the reason why Africa is not getting it, because it says right there in 1619, 2019, to be a plague that will pass over us and get our oppressors. The reason why we get it, because we're not getting it here, because it's demons. But he can't talk about demons because he be out in himself. He can't tell you the simple truth. It's very simple. He can't make it simple to you. He can't tell you it's simple because it's simple. But he can't tell it to you because then he out himself as being a demon because that's what he is. The prophecy is very clear. Anybody got half a brain can go and say, look, just read Exodus. It's under veil, but still it's clear enough. If you look at close enough, you can see it, right? It'll be God coming. He raised up Elijah for 40 some years, right? Then he would leave, and Aaron would leave and messed up people all up and everything else, right? And then there would be a plague, right? After from 1619 to 2019 would be in terms of enslavement. There'd be a plague in 2020, came exactly out on time, that would kill the firstborn, which is another way to say the elderly, because they're the oldest, right? But it would pass over us. And Africa is right there, this big old sign on the whole planet that's not affecting Africa. And we came from Africa. We got the same DNA they got. I mean, how can you blow that, miss that one? How come it's passing over them? Because it's passing over us too. But the problem is, the ones that's dying is the demons, because they the slave master's children. They're part of the prison, so it's killing them. So they say, well, it's killing blacks disproportionately. Yes, killing blacks disproportionately, probably, but not killing the seed of Abraham, because it's passing over us. It's them the ones that's killing. And if he can't say that, he can't, because that's very clear and simple. That's why it's not messing with Africa, and it's messing us, because we got mixed in with the demons. And it's killing the demons. Farrakhan's main minister was one of the first ones to go. That's why they wear masks and everything. I'm not wearing any masks, but he can't tell it. Very simple. He even say, this line, Wesley even said in the beginning, it wasn't even affecting black people. But then he had to find an explanation for that. Well, yeah, first it wasn't, the first few months wasn't even affecting black people. And he said, well, the Boogaloo Boys came in, they spread it and everybody else, because they keep talking stuff. Well, they keep talking this crap about, well, one drop of black blood make you black. It might make you black, don't make you original. If your father's a devil, you're a devil. I don't care what color you think you are. That's what a demon is. If you follow the devil and your mother's anything other than the devil, then you're a demon. It's not just black demons, you got yellow demons, brown demons, everything else. But he can't tell you that simple truth because it outs him. So they come up with those complex theories. The Boogaloo Boy. Whoa, the Boogaloo Boys. You see? They're the ones. And we're being punished because we ain't listening to Farrakhan. See? And he didn't even see angels coming. I told you before, wait, watch. It's going to take a few months to figure it out. And then once they come out, they're going to act like they knew about us all together. First time he mentioned out of his mouth was in July. First time he even mentioned it, anything about the virus, anything was in July. I talk about the unraveling of America. Well, hell, anybody can see unraveling America. You can go that. You don't have to go back to. You don't have to wait till February. Said hell, you can say last year America's unraveling, but they never say anything like this. You see the demons, the locust plague that took place 5 months. That George Floyd thing. I told you so. It would take place 5 months. It did. From there, 5 months it was over. See? So they got to come up with these complex theories that keep you confused from seeing the truth. Because it's very clear. It's very simple. Just read Exodus. It's very simple. God would come fried. He raised up Elijah, right? He would teach about 40 some years. Exactly what happened. That's what Elijah Muhammad said, right? And then he would leave Aaron, that's Farrakhan, for 20 years. Farrakhan would try to turn you back to Egypt, lie, confuse you, having worship, all this Scientology, all this kind of crazy stuff. Exactly what he's doing. And then the plague will come in 2020, 14, 16, 19, 2019, 40 years. Then the plague will come in 2020 that will kill the firstborn, which is the elderly. That's exactly what it's doing. You can't miss this, brothers and sisters. That's exactly what it's doing. But it would pass over us. And you got big old signs. See, they could cover, and they are trying to cover it up. Because I have not met one black person yet. I'm out and around that even know that Africa is not affected. You tell, man, really? You sure about that? Let me see, man. How do we get information from? Oh, you got a link? Send me a link. They don't even know. Now that should be the biggest story on the planet. If the whole planet is being ravaged by this virus and Africa is not affected, that should be the biggest story. But they're not telling you that. They're not telling you that. Because that's the big old elephant in the room. That means passing over black people, original people. Now they say it's affecting Africa now. But when you read the whole lines, it's not affecting black Africans. They're not wearing masks. They're not doing social distancing. They ain't doing none of that crap. It's the other people, the Chinese and the Mexicans, the white people that's in Africa that's getting it. It's not affecting black people in Africa. That's the elephant in the room. It's not affecting us over here. That's a big lie. It's affecting, I don't wear a mask and everything. It's affecting the demons, their children. Those are the ones that's dying from it. So the Boogaloo Boys, the Boogaloo Boys. Ain't that a bunch of shit? Bro, sisters, it's just up to you. You're going out here anyway. If you're original, we're going to take you out of here. The four winds going to break your grip on America. It's going to break your grip because you hold on America, man. You grab it. And they try to put you, grabbing it. You know, that raggedy car you got. Yeah, oh, man, I got me a BMW, man. That old raggedy apartment you got. Oh, man, I got me a 3-bedroom house, man. And, and that old raggedy job you got with your boss, taskmaster. See? The cars you have to, only reason you got it because you get to work. See? So you're clean. Oh, I got NFL, keep you distracted. See, we be master entertainers. See, every Christmas, man, he give a party. He lets have a big party, entertain us. If we did plantation, man, we want to see them. We want to be able to watch Sophie dance. We want to be able to watch Jennifer sing. Ever leave the plantation? That's where y'all, brothers and sisters. But that's being shut down. See, God is shutting all that down. What you think this thing is shutting all that down? Now I know what to do. We'll let people die, open everything up, or close everything down, and see, they're the crossroads. They're the point of threshold. But the only part of it, their crossroads, either both paths leads to destruction, and they want to take you with them. But you're gonna be snatched out of here. See, will the prey be taken from the mighty? You're gonna be taken. That's the promise. See, we know we're not mad at you. See, because we know the reason why you're dirty because you're thrown in the pit. We can't tell you to go out in the pit to clean the pit out and then get mad at you because you're dirty. Because that's what happens when you go out in the pit to clean something out. You're gonna get dirty. So being over here, you made a sacrifice. We were sacrificed, and sacrifice means we was given the enemy mind. That's why I said Suma had to give your mind back. So we're not blaming you for acting the way you're acting with your enemy mind. But once you hear the truth and you recognize it and you still keep on with your BS, then that's on you. See? Because you're probably a demon. See? So you're going to be taken home and you're going to clean up because the shit ain't in you, it's on you. The shit's on the demons through and through. The shit's not in you, it's on you. So he needs a bath, hot shower. And Suleiman and Fry has all that for you. Soap, shower. That's why it says Suleiman will come with full of soap. See, to wash you off. All you need is a bath. So don't this bullshit Friday. I mean, you're sinful. You're being punished because sinful. That's all bullshit. You're not being punished. This plague did not come to punish you. Read what it says. The plague came to force you out of here, to break your grip on America. You can't get off to the second floor unless you get up the first floor. And you all hanging clean on the first floor. It says, allow God will lift you up, but you cling to the earth. You're clinging to America. You can't stay here and go to the promised land at the same time. You got to have one or the other. So if you think this is a promised land, hold on to it. You keep on holding on. But your grip is being broken. Everything. You think last year was bad? Who? You ain't seen nothing yet. Look how this year bust in. Look all the turmoil's going on. These papers confused, right? You think this is the end of it? I said they're going to try to crush Trump. There's all these people out of existence. They ain't finished with that. They're going to try to crush him out of existence. And they're going to come after us. See? They'll come after the NOI, and they'll come after us too. That's another story. That's what's happening, brothers and sisters. But you're going home. So I hope I explain this to you. So you got, like I said, Farrakhan's a demon. That's why he said he wants to stay here. See? But part of the reason why this is even going on right now, because that's what it says in Jonah. See, I'm Jonah. It says in Jonah got to argue with God for Friday on that subject. Because he said, let's get the hell out of here. Friday says no, because there's some that still know their right hand from their left. See, because the Nation of Islam is his baby. He gave birth to it. And Elijah nursed it for 40-some years. See? And Farrakhan spent 42 years trying to corrupt it. See? And so now that's Farrakhan's baby. And so now you got people in there, like I tell you in Exodus, right? There's people in there that's confused because they never made Elijah Muhammad. And all they know is what Farrakhan tells them. So he's using like Elijah Muhammad's teachings like bait on a hook. So, here's message black on he don't believe none of that stuff. So you come in and bite on that and then you get hooked. And so you got people in there that think this is Elijah Muhammad's teaching. It's not. They don't know which way to turn. And so he says, that's why Fry said, no, I'm not going to do it, because Jonah told Jonah to tell him it's going to be over 40 years. He said, no, I'm not going to do it now. So Jonah gets mad and said, well, you told me to do this. He said, no, I'm not going to do it, because I'm going to give more time. See? So they can figure it out. I don't want to just kill him. I want to figure it out. See, and then you see in Exodus, right? Then that has, Elijah says, all the people with me, with the God, come to me, and all those were Aaron, right? And they separated and they wiped out Aaron and all his followers, all the demons. And the same story about Michael. Michael delivers the elect. That's 144,000, right? The elect, right? See, those words they don't know about. It says they call it hidden. See, because they're listening now. They're learning. And it says, then there was those that woke up too late. Some everlasting life, some have saving appointment, but they weren't delivered. That means the everlasting life going through tribulation. Everlasting appointment, they're the ones been destroyed. In this melee that's going to take over this stuff, America's going to be a hellhole. And then they're going to be invaded and destroyed. See? So I'm going to leave it right there, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. I'm going to try to spend more time on this subject, make it clear and clear what we're up against right now, because the days ahead could be some tough days ahead, brothers and sisters. And the only light is this light. Those other clouds, they talk about any of this stuff, because they don't know. See, they're reporters. They tell you after it's happened. See, or after the play hit, now he knows all about it. He claims a prophet. He should have he should have told you before it happened. I was telling you before it happened. I tried as well. I was gonna come in. I told you about the insurrection. You know, the rioting and everything that was going on. I told you that in 2019. I had videos to prove it. And I'm telling you all this stuff right now, so you know that I told you ahead of time. I'm not waiting till after it happened. I'm telling you what you can expect to see this year. We're going home this year, the year of our resurrection. Year of our home. The four winds will blow. The war, the thing is, the sign of the Son of Man in the heavens is that war in the Middle East. Now, was Trump going to pull a trigger before he gets out of there? They're trying to shut him down. But if he doesn't pull it, Biden's going to pull it within very soon. Because I said that's part of the pressure. Out of pressure, he's going to have to get rid of the outer pressure and the inner pressure. Because America's being squeezed. It's about to crumble, and they can't withstand the pressure. They're not going to be able to stand. It's going to be crushed to dust. Only way they can get out of it is they got to destroy the pressure, destroy the outer pressure, destroy the pressure that's causing them to be crushed. Destroy the crushing pressure. See, that's the internal pressure and the external pressure. That's war on both counts. Okay, brothers and sisters. Thank you for listening. Remember, you're the apple of God's eyes. You don't have to worry about anything. The promise was you'll be delivered. You will be delivered. You made your sacrifice. You're not here because you were sinful, right? You're a pure lamb. You was a sinless lamb. Because the only thing you can sacrifice to God has to be pure. See, nothing wrong with you. It's sinless. See, the sins that you have committed here is not on you. You don't blame the car. You blame the manufacturer. You don't blame the product. You blame the manufacturer of the product. See, you was transforming niggas here by these people. That shows who they are. Niggas made in America. So their sins on you. I mean, no, your sins on them. See, it tells you that in the angel. I'm just saying one thing with close. It says, blessed are those who keep their garments. See, if you're not angel, understand what that means. See, that their necklace not would be, what it means is that they're our garments. So long as we're in their control, our actions is on them. We still under their control, actions on them. Whatever we do is on them because we're told to obey them. So if you told to obey someone and you obey them, how can you be sinful? See, that shows how righteous we are because we're told to obey them, which we did. And this is part of obeying them with their devil mind and everything else. But now time is over. So we can't be condemned for obeying them. That's our righteousness because we was told, it said, told angels submit to Adam. What was Adam's nature? To make Mishra shed blood. And we submitted. But the jinn did not. Who are the jinn? Those that didn't submit. Who is the jinn? In this situation, the jinn are the Arabs over there, Arab Sunnis. They don't submit to anything Arab. They're told against everything Adam does. This is their Adam. And we submitted. We went to slavery and everything. We did everything they told. We submit. And now the Africans over they did, or the cotton pickers, they look down on us. They don't like us either. They're enemies. You're going to see that. See? But we submitted. That means that showed that we're supposed to be cowards or something. You know, it was the hardest thing in the world for us to submit because we're the gods. And they're going to find out in a minute. See? We was able to control ourselves. See, I'm put it this way. They tried to put other people under slavery and it wasn't working. They tried to put American natives and everything. They couldn't do it. Because you had to be strong and wise enough to submit and survive. They couldn't. Because they didn't have the discipline. It's like if you go out for a team or something, you got to go through a whole lot of hard work. That means it takes a lot of discipline. So they said, well, man, look at that clown. He's doing everything that the coach tells him to do. That's because he's strong enough to do that. That's why he's doing everything the coach, because he's strong to do it. You ain't a better coach because you can't strong enough to obey the coach. You can't do what the coach tells you to do. It took strength and wisdom for us to go through this 400 years of hell and survive it. No one else could survive it. We did. That's why we was chosen to do it. We made an agreement, and the agreement was if we did this, to take this devil off of everybody else's back, to keep them from eating their ass, let them chew on us for 40 years, to keep them chewing them so much, the reward would be we would be given the promised land, the best part of planet Earth. Now they're trying to renege. It don't matter. Fraud is here to enforce that agreement. So I'm here to make sure you understand, get you back, you understand, so you can benefit from the agreement. See? So Farrakhan's here to get you to sell out the agreement. See? Or reparations. Because if you take payment for what they did to you, then Farrakhan has he stands clean. Because you didn't accept your reward. You took what they gave you. So now, hey, you didn't want the promised land. You paid for a Lamborghini, and let this fool sell you the Volkswagen Beetle. So you can't go to court and say, well, hey, I paid for a Lamborghini. Yeah, but he sold you, why you take the Volkswagen? Well, man, I like the way he talked, man. He told me, you understand, it would be a good car you give me. Yeah, but you accept it, right? Yeah, well, get the fuck out of here. You did that, you signed the contract and everything, right? You paid for the Lamborghini, but you took the Volkswagen Beetle. Then get the hell out of here. What you in court for? Why change? No, you can't change your mind. Should have took it. Well, he was nice. That's your problem. That's the game. They're trying to get you to sell out your heritage, your reward. Farrakhan telling you ain't going nowhere. By him telling you not going nowhere, what he's telling you is that Abraham becomes a lie, that Farah is a lie, that Elijah is a lie. There's a whole person coming here to give us the reward, to enforce that covenant, take us back to the promised land. That's what Elijah Muhammad taught, that's Farah taught, that's a whole person coming. He telling you ain't going nowhere. That means they call him a lie. It means he don't want the reward because he was a demon, want to stay here. But think about that, brothers and sisters. That's what this whole thing is about. I'm telling you, you got enemies everywhere. And Ishmael, the Ishmaelites, right? That's the Arabs. That's the city enemy. They got the land. They said the land is theirs. They pretend, they said they Abraham's seed, but the heritage went to us, not them, to Isaac. So they got our land, our culture, our language, everything. They ain't giving it up. So we got to fight. That's why Joshua had to go fight his way back through. So Pharaoh's got to get rid of the authorities, and we got to get rid of the people, because they ain't gonna give that land up. Then you got the false Israel. They pretend to be us. So they're over there trying to take the land. They say what they call it, ID theft, identity theft. And then you got the Europeans saying, well, because of Jesus, the new covenant now, so it belongs to us. So why is everybody focused over there in the Middle East now? See? Because they're trying to abrogate the covenant. They're trying to say, take it for themselves and get rid of, that's right, cut them off from being a nation. Get rid of them so they remember no more. Because they don't want to pay up now. We made sacrifice, they don't want to pay. But they're going to pay. And you're going home. And these demons are going to be squashed. See? That's happened. That's 2021. You ready? Assalamu alaikum.